Never remove this type of plant from your home. The moment it leaves your doorway, the cash flow in your family may begin to fall into disorder. Not loudly. No warning, just unexpected expenses, plans slipping out of rhythm, and a sense of unease that is very hard to name. Many people think indoor plants are only for decoration. Like it, keep it, get bored, take it outside. But according to principles of energy and living psychology, there are certain plants that, once they have been in the house long enough, become part of the family's rhythm of life. They are connected to how you make money, spend money, and maintain peace within your living space. These plants do not attract money to you, but they keep money staying. They help the house avoid leaking energy, and when energy is stable, money is less likely to silently slip away.
Hello, I'm David Feng Shui. I'm 70 years old with over 30 years of experience in modern Feng Shui. No superstition, just psychology, energy, and real-life alignment. I've helped thousands of people regain balance, money flow, luck, and happiness in their lives. And if you're ready to refresh your energy, welcome. You're in the right place.
I am not talking about superstition. I also do not promise quick wealth. I am only talking about one very practical thing: stability. Before continuing, please press subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. I cherish and protect the wealth in my home. And now I will point out the plants you should not remove if you want to keep money, peace, and a sense of security in your home. 1. Snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue. It is one of the most familiar indoor plants, but also one of the easiest plants to be taken outside when cleaning or changing the space. Because it is durable, requires little care, and looks unimportant, many people see it as something that can be removed at any time. However, it is precisely the quiet stability of the snake plant that helps keep the living space orderly and gives a sense of security. The snake plant has leaves that grow straight, firm, and neat. Psychologically, straight vertical shapes create a feeling of clarity and solidity. When a snake plant is placed permanently in the home, especially near the entrance hallways or a familiar corner, it helps the space have clear boundaries. People entering the house naturally feel more at ease, even without being aware of the exact reason. When the snake plant is taken outside, the change does not happen immediately. There is no major event. No obvious sign to connect cause and effect. But over time, many people begin to feel that daily life has less rhythm. Schedules are more easily disrupted. Small decisions become less decisive. And when these things repeat, the sense of control over life quietly decreases. An important characteristic of the snake plant is its ability to stand firmly without much intervention. It does not like to be moved frequently. That stability is reflected in the living space. When the familiar environment is kept the same, the human mind also becomes more stable. When the mind is stable, decisions related to work and money are less influenced by emotion. Many people describe the feeling after taking the snake plant out of the house as a slight unease. Not strong enough to cause worry, but enough to make them easily distracted and less focused. The space seems emptier emotionally. This is not related to belief, but is a natural psychological reaction when a familiar anchor point is removed. The snake plant does not bring quick money. Its role is to keep what you already have from leaking away unconsciously. It helps maintain boundaries and order in the living space. Therefore, if your home has a snake plant that has been there for many years, the best thing to do is not to replace it or take it outside, but to let it continue to stay where it is. Sometimes the simplest and most familiar things are exactly what keep life from becoming unstable. 2. Peace lily. This is a plant that often appears in spaces that need quiet and balance. It is not eye-catching, does not take up much space, but quietly keeps the atmosphere in the home comfortable. Because of its simple appearance, many families think the peace lily is not important and easily take it outside when cleaning or changing the arrangement. The peace lily has soft leaves, light-colored flowers, and a gently drooping shape. These characteristics create a soothing feeling in the space. Psychologically, people respond very clearly to their living environment, even without realizing it. When the peace lily stays in the home for a long time, it helps reduce the stress that builds up every day. Small pressures are not overly accumulated. The space becomes lighter, and people find it easier to relax when they return home. When the peace lily is taken out of the house, the change does not happen immediately. Life continues as usual. But over time, many people begin to feel that their home becomes heavier emotionally. Fatigue lasts longer. Irritation increases over very small things. When emotions are unstable, the ability to think clearly also decreases. And when thinking is unclear, decisions related to money and long-term plans easily become uncertain. An important role of the peace lily is to keep the emotional foundation of the home stable. It does not bring money directly, but it helps people avoid impulsive reactions. In a constantly tense space, people tend to emotionally act quickly and regret it afterward. When the peace lily is present consistently, these reactions are naturally softened. The peace lily is also a plant that does not like to be moved frequently. When it is placed in a familiar position and left undisturbed for a long time, it becomes a fixed part of the living space. That stability creates a sense of security for the people in the home. When the plant is taken outside or its position is changed, often this sense of security decreases, even if only slightly. Many families only realize the role of the peace lily after it is no longer there. The space remains the same, but the feeling of relaxation is harder to find. Small stresses are no longer released naturally. And when emotions are suppressed for a long time, money, even if it comes in, has difficulty staying. Not because of a lack of income, but because of a lack of the calm needed to maintain balance. The peace lily is not a symbol of quick wealth. It is a symbol of balance. If your home has a peace lily that has been there for a long time, the best thing to do is not to take it outside for decorative reasons, but to let it continue to stay. Sometimes the quietness we pay the least attention to is exactly what keeps life from falling into chaos. 3. Jasmine. Jasmine. It is a plant that is very easy to be underestimated because of its simple appearance and small size. It does not take up space, does not create a strong visual focal point, and is often considered unnecessary. Because of that, jasmine is usually one of the first plants to be taken outside when cleaning the house or changing the decoration. But the true role of jasmine lies in emotion, not in appearance. Jasmine has a light fragrance that spreads slowly and is not overpowering psychologically. Scents like this help the body relax without reducing alertness. When jasmine stays in the home for a long time, its fragrance becomes a familiar part of the space. The space becomes more comfortable. People find it easier to slow their emotional pace, react less harshly, and maintain softness in daily communication. When jasmine is taken out of the house, the change does not happen immediately. There are no clear signs to link cause and effect, but over time, many people begin to feel more easily tense. Small things can become irritating. Conversations tend to feel heavier. This is a sign of the absence of an element that helps maintain harmony in the living space. Jasmine does not bring money directly. Its role is to keep emotions within the family from falling out of rhythm. When emotions are stable, people make fewer rushed decisions. They spend less based on emotion. They act less impulsively and do not have to correct mistakes afterward. This emotional stability helps money stay more easily, even if income does not change. An important characteristic of jasmine is its attachment to a familiar environment. When placed in a fixed position, and left undisturbed for a long time, its fragrance becomes a spatial memory. When the plant is moved frequently or taken outside, that familiarity disappears. The space looks the same physically, but the feeling is different. Less warmth, less comfort. Many families only realize the role of jasmine when they no longer feel the same lightness in their own home. Not because life has changed dramatically, but because the living environment no longer supports emotions as it once did. Therefore, if your home has a jasmine plant that has been there for a long time, the best choice is not to replace it or take it outside, but to let it continue to stay. Sometimes the gentlest things are exactly what keep life from becoming tense and losing control. 4. Basil. Basil. It has one of the clearest and most easily recognizable scents in a living space. Because of its strong and familiar fragrance, many people think basil is only useful for scent or cooking. But when kept stably in the home, basil also acts as a natural filter, helping prevent the living environment from becoming disturbed. Basil is often placed near entrances, windows, or areas that have frequent contact with the outside. When the plant stays in its familiar position, its scent creates a feeling of clarity and alertness. People entering the home tend to feel lighter and less tense. This directly affects mental state after a long day. When the mind is cleared, negative thoughts have fewer chances to accumulate. When basil is taken outside or moved frequently, the change does not happen immediately. The space looks the same, but over time, many people begin to feel that their home becomes easier to disturb. Pressure from outside seems to enter the house more easily than before. Fatigue lingers. The ability to focus decreases. And when the mind is scattered, managing work and money also becomes more difficult. Basil does not bring money directly. Its role is to protect the mental foundation. When the living space is kept emotionally clean, people make fewer impulsive decisions. They spend less based on emotion. This is how basil indirectly helps prevent money from slipping away. An important trait of basil is that it reacts very quickly to the environment. When the space is calm, the plant grows evenly and its scent is clear. When the environment is tense, the plant weakens easily. This reflects the connection between the living space and the mental state of people. When you keep basil stable in the home, you are keeping the living environment from becoming overly disturbed. Basil does not need much attention. It only needs to be placed in the right spot and left alone. If your home has a basil plant that is already accustomed to the space, the best choice is not to take it outside for fresh air, but to keep it. Sometimes the things with the clearest scent are the ones that quietly prevent negative influences from crossing the threshold. 5. Palm. Areca palm, or other palm varieties. Palm brings a sense of gentle movement and openness to the living space. The trunk grows upward. The leaves curve softly and spread outward, creating the feeling that air is always circulating. Because of its attractive and flexible appearance, many families move palm plants frequently to refresh the room without realizing that this removes the plant's stabilizing role. When a palm is placed permanently in a familiar position, usually in the living room near the entrance, or where there is natural light, it helps the rhythm of daily life flow more smoothly. People entering that space tend to feel mentally lighter, more focused, and less sluggish. Daily work is more likely to proceed continuously without being interrupted by fatigue or boredom. When the palm is moved many times or taken out of the house, this sense of steady movement is disrupted. Many people begin to notice that things progress more slowly. Plans are easily delayed. Small opportunities appear, but are hard to seize, not because of a lack of ability, but because the rhythm of thinking and action is no longer as smooth as before. Palm is not a plant that creates money directly. Its role is to open pathways and maintain flow. When the living space feels open and gently moving, people are more receptive to opportunities and less likely to fall into stagnation. When the palm is no longer in its familiar position, this smoothness decreases, bringing a heavier feeling to work and daily life. An important characteristic of palm is that it does not like constant change. Each time it is moved, the plant needs time to readjust to light and environment. This clearly reflects the psychology of the people in the home. When everything changes frequently, the sense of stability decreases. And when stability is lacking, decisions related to work and finances often become hesitant or indecisive. Palm does not bring quick results. It builds a foundation for long-term progress. Therefore, if your home has a palm plant that has become accustomed to the space, the best choice is not to keep changing its position for appearance, but to let it stay where it is. Sometimes steady movement is exactly what helps life and work move forward in a sustainable way. 6. Red aglaonema, red Chinese evergreen. This is a plant that very clearly represents circulation and connection in the living space. Its leaves have vivid but not harsh colors, a soft stem, and a growth pattern that opens outward. These characteristics create the feeling that everything is moving and continuing, rather than standing still or becoming stagnant. When the red aglaonema is kept stable in the home, many people clearly feel that daily rhythms become more even. Work tends to progress continuously. Unfinished tasks are more easily resumed instead of being forgotten. Psychologically, the feeling that everything is moving is very important. It helps people maintain motivation and persistence, even when results do not appear immediately. When this plant is taken out of the house, or its position is changed suddenly, the sense of circulation begins to weaken. It is not an immediate loss of money, but many people begin to notice that work slows down. Responses come later. Plans stretch longer than expected. Small opportunities appear and pass very quickly. This is a sign that the rhythm of thinking and action is no longer seamless. The red aglaonema is not an accumulating plant. It does not hold money. Its role is to keep the flow of work and cash from becoming blocked. When circulation is steady, people are less likely to feel discouraged or give up halfway. When the plant is no longer in its familiar position, that connection weakens, persistence declines. And when persistence is lacking, income easily becomes uneven. An important trait of the red aglaonema is that it prefers a stable environment. Even though it appears adaptable, frequent movement causes the plant to lose its rhythm. This very clearly reflects the psychological state of people. When the living environment changes, often long-term focus decreases, leading to interruptions in work and finances. The red aglaonema does not bring instant results. It keeps the process from being broken. Therefore, if your home has this plant that is already accustomed to the space, the best choice is not to take it outside for fresh air or change its position repeatedly, but to let it stay. When the flow is kept steady, work and money have a chance to move forward in a sustainable way. 7. Pennywort. Pennywort. It has a very recognizable shape. The leaves are round, thin, grow separately, and spread evenly around the base. This shape makes many people immediately associate it with money and circulation. But the true role of pennywort is not about attracting money, but about keeping the flow of income and expenses in life from being interrupted. When pennywort is kept stable in the home, especially in shared living areas, many people clearly feel that the rhythm of life becomes more even, not getting rich quickly, but rarely falling into sudden shortage. Spending tends to stay under control. Small but steady sources of income appear more easily. Psychologically, this sense of continuous flow is very important because it helps people feel more secure when making financial plans. When pennywort is moved frequently or taken out of the house, that sense of balance begins to decline. Many people do not lose money immediately, but start to feel it is hard to track their cash flow. The money is still there, but the feeling of not knowing where it went becomes clearer. Small expenses arise continuously. Financial plans are easily disrupted by unexpected costs. Pennywort grows by continuously producing new leaves around its base. This growth rhythm clearly reflects the principle of stability. When the environment is familiar, the plant grows steadily. When the environment changes constantly, its growth slows. This is similar to how people handle money. When life has a clear rhythm, money is easier to manage. When life's rhythm is disturbed, controlling income and expenses becomes much more difficult. An important point about pennywort is that it is very sensitive to position, frequently changing where it is placed, or taking it outside and bringing it back in, causes the plant to lose its familiar rhythm. This feeling is directly reflected in the psychology of the people living in the home. When everything changes constantly, the sense of stability decreases. And when stability is lacking, financial decisions often become inconsistent. Many families only realize the role of pennywort after they have taken it outside for a period of time. Life continues. Income still exists. But the sense of financial security is no longer as clear as before. Everything feels more unstable, even though no major event has occurred. Pennywort does not create quick wealth. It helps keep cash flow from being broken. It reminds people of steadiness and continuity. Therefore, if your home has a pennywort plant that is accustomed to the living space, the best thing to do is not to move it constantly for decoration, but to let it stay where it is. When the flow is kept stable, money has a better chance to stay longer. 8. Jade plant. Jade plant. This is the plant that most clearly represents accumulation and long-term stability. It is not a plant that creates fast change. It grows slowly, steadily, and is very durable. Because of this, many families keep a jade plant in the home for many years and almost forget its presence. And because of that silence, the jade plant is often taken outside when cleaning the house, rearranging, or wanting to replace it with a newer, more modern-looking plant. The jade plant has thick, round leaves that store a lot of water. Psychologically, shapes like this create a feeling of being held and not lost. When a jade plant stays in the home for a long time, it becomes a familiar symbol of durability. The living space tends to feel more solid. People feel more at ease with what they already have, instead of constantly worrying about future fluctuations. When the jade plant is taken out of the house, the change does not happen immediately. There is no major incident, no clear sign for you to recognize the connection. But over time, many people begin to feel it is harder to maintain the same level of stability as before. The money is still there, work still continues, but the sense of security decreases. Small expenses arise more often. Long-term plans are easily disrupted by reasons that are very hard to name. An important aspect of the jade plant is that it carries the memory of the space. After living with a family through many stages, the plant absorbs daily rhythms, habits, and emotions of the people in the home. When you remove this plant, you are not just removing a pot of greenery, but also removing an anchor tied to accumulation over time. And when that anchor disappears, a sense of uncertainty gradually appears. The jade plant is not a plant that attracts money quickly. It does not create new opportunities or suddenly increase income. Its role is to keep what you already have from unconsciously slipping away. It helps people value stability, be more patient with the process of accumulation, and make fewer impulsive decisions related to money. Many people think they can replace an old jade plant with a new one, but in terms of spatial feeling, the two plants are not the same. A plant that has been in the home for many years carries the imprint of time. A new plant does not. This difference is very subtle, but it clearly affects the sense of security in daily life. The jade plant does not need to be moved. It needs to be kept in the same position. When you let it stay where it is, you are preserving a part of the stability that the family has built over time. Sometimes lasting wealth does not come from adding something new, but from not removing the things that are quietly keeping your life from becoming unsteady. After going through each type of plant, you may notice one very important common point. These plants do not make you rich overnight. They do not create money out of nothing. Their true role is to keep the rhythm of life in the home from falling out of balance. When the rhythm of life is stable, when emotions are stable, money then has a place to stay. Many people focus only on earning more and forget about keeping what they already have. Meanwhile, small changes in the living space, such as taking a familiar plant out of the house, can quietly remove a sense of security without you realizing it right away. Not because plants have magical powers, but because people need familiarity in order to think clearly and act calmly. Feng Shui, when viewed realistically, is not about believing in mysterious forces. It is about respecting the stability you have built over time. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your finances is not to break the anchors that are quietly keeping your life running smoothly. Before ending, please subscribe to the channel and leave a simple affirmation in the comments. I value and protect stability and abundance in my home.